So, working on Noah again. Working on the supports for the headache rack. Went through several kind of iterations of this thing. Had a few ideas, but I finally kind of decided on doing these little V's. You got 2.5-inch angle iron on the little brackets down the bottom. That's what mounts to the bed bolts. And then we've got 2-inch angle iron doing the V's and the verticals that are of course welded for better or for worse to some plates, down plate, that are stitch welded onto the seat channel. Of course you've got small pieces of down plate here and over there on the corner, and then just one big piece in the middle for the center supports. But anyways, I was going to make different like bolt drop down tabs to adjust the height and all that good stuff. But the more I thought about it, I just figured, well, the height shouldn't really be something you really have to adjust. So just weld it and make it pretty solid, and that's just what we did. So technically there is a little bit of adjustment on the height down low where the brackets meet the bed. I got some foam in there, you can see. One for shock absorption, but also as like a spacer, as well as some up here to kind of give us some extra height. So we'll be able to lug those bed bolts down, which will pull the entire assembly now that it's welded. Pull the assembly down as a whole, and put pressure on this. While also, another reason why I did that extra height was I wanted to make sure that the V's, that these bottom supports, were absolutely holding the weight of this rack. I did not want any weight on the rails. Of course the rails will have some weight, obviously, with the shell and the wings on the ends right here, but it won't be as much now with this taking the bulk of the weight of the headache rack. Of course, we'll still have it mounted to the rails over there and over there to kind of more of like stabilize and more fine adjustment. For front to back and kind of the left and right. But again, majority of the weight will now be going straight into the bed on the floor, not the tops, but the floor. Of course, where it's sleeved and where the bed bolts go, right to the frame. I'm kind of hoping or going with the idea of this will kind of act as a roll bar, even though I know it's not how that works at all. But technically, these do bolt. This is technically bolts into the frame, mind you. It's only a little seat clip, or a little thin metal seat clip connecting the bed bolts to the frame itself. So again, not exactly what you want to rely on to save your life, especially when you start rolling stuff. But you pretty much could remove the seat clip, remove the bolt, and replace it with a grade 8 bolt, and then you would literally be this would literally be attached directly to the frame. So that's kind of a cool thing that I guess that you can say about this whole system and whole apparatus, and that's kind of the whole point of this from the get-go. Was originally, before everything went crazy, this was supposed to be a roll bar, a functioning roll bar, or roll protection. Maybe not a full roll bar, but it's just kind of roll protection. And that's pretty much what it is now at this point. But anyways, so I'm going to start welding the bottom brackets first, and then I'll start doing the tops. The tops got a little bit of gap because my cuts aren't very good on the angle iron, but we'll just kind of take it slow. And I'm going to try to do it on the vehicle. I think that'd be the best way to do it. I know we're going to pop our glass and stuff. We're going to get welding debris everywhere, but I'm hoping if we do it on the vehicle, it won't roll and flex as much. So I'm hoping we can just kind of take it slow, kind of do stitch welds essentially, and just kind of move back and forth and try to spread that heat out and not let it get too hot where it wants to warp, but I'm sure it's going to. Anyways, but and then we're gonna test the fire rating of the Harbor Freight foam floor mat. I probably could pull it out now, but I got like 3 fire extinguishers behind me and a bottle of water. I'm gonna see how much heat it can take before it starts melting and or smoldering and creating toxic fumes. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to that too. But anyways, I'm gonna do that, and then once I do that, I'll bring y'all back in, and we'll see how bad it warped, and see how, if we got our alignment right, or if now it's permanently canted one way or the other. So I will see y'all guys later. So getting ready to start priming this bottom half of the headache rack. I didn't make a video of welding it, because things just kind of went pretty smooth. Anyways, got everything welded, grounded. Turned out okay, I guess. Anyways, got everything welded. You know, front and back, of course. And got all orange Scotch-Brite brush off and ready to go for paint. Got the C channel at 220. Also, I did go ahead and cut my holes for my wiring. They're not really clean, but you can't really get a drill because of the angle, so that should take care of that problem. And kind of got all this kind of grind out ready for Bondo, but I'm just gonna put some primer on it just to kind of keep the metal safe. And of course, need to get this stuff sanded off and redone. I probably should go and try to do it now before I prime it, but right now I'm not sure if we're gonna kind of leave this powder coat and try to burn into it, or what we're gonna do. So I figured just get the main stuff done, and then we can worry about that on a later date. Even though it probably wouldn't take that long, because like the inside, you know, it's going to take some time to get that cleaned out if you decide to clean it out. So I figured just go ahead and get the exposed metal cleaned up, and yeah, go from there. Anyways, so I'm gonna get this done real quick, and then yeah, I can start trying to work on the louvers and maybe the other top piece, try to get those primed as well. But yeah, so just want to show y'all that. It's taken a while to get to this point, but we're pushing through, so I will show y'all guys when it's being primed. Getting ready to install, or not install, but start fitting and cutting the holes and stuff for the wires and the solar panels. Also maybe potentially the GMSR antenna, possibly might get mounted here. Anyways, I'm trying to get this thing's rough oriented before I mark them out, and then try to drill holes and drill clearing for this controller. But yeah, so lots happened. We've kind of rectified the bow, you know, the sway, the droop. It's still a little bit droopy, but it's somehow not as droopy, if that makes any sense at all. It looks good. It looks good. Trust me, I'll show you a little bit later, but it does look, it looks okay. It looks presentable. As well as we got this bow on the winglet itself taken care of pretty well. And now it actually looks relatively symmetrical. This side looks a little bit wide or tall still, but I think it's because of the light reflecting off the material. But yeah. Also, off camera, did a few bracings, kind of stuff I wanted to get done. But yeah, so I'm going to get these solar panels, figure out how we're going to mount the solar panels, figure out all that good stuff, and then I want to, with the ambulance pass, then I want to get the solar panels figured out how they're going to mount, and then I want to do a figure out cab lights and all that good stuff, and then maybe some conduit for the wires and stuff. But anyways, a lot to get done yet still, but it's come a long way, believe it or not. It got grounded, or grinded, what do you want to say, and then this is rewelding it just to kind of build material up and let it grind it again. But anyways, got this fixed, or got it bent to where it clears, or it doesn't sit up as high as it did. But yeah, so also I'm trying to figure out a CB radio antenna, which is very difficult if you're not aware. Let me see if I can find this thing real quick. Shit. This is the GMSR antenna, which is really cute. It's magnetic, really easy to do. No big deal, right? This is the CB antenna, very Harry Potter-like, very long. I'm trying to figure out where to mount this thing because they say you don't want to mount it close to the antenna, to the GSMR, because that could cause interference, which I'm like, okay. So probably thinks something like this, where it lays like that when you don't want it, and then it deploys up when you want it. There's a few problems with that. There's also the idea of mounting it right here. Of course, you can see. Oh my gosh, I'm about to fall over. You can see the distance away from it would be from the actual GSMR. And this is kind of my best option right now. But it's the only thing I don't like about it is that it kind of destroys the floating look and aesthetic of the wing. But I'm not really worried about it, because when it's when this is up, it's like that, and then when it's deployed, or when it's down, it would just kind of break away like this, which I kind of got mixed feelings about. So yeah, need to figure out a place for to mount this as well. Again, I'm not really sure how to mount this place, but anyways, so that's something else I got to figure out too. But anyways, I'm gonna figure out this real quick, and then we'll kind of just jump around and try to get this thing figured out and eventually wrapped up. So I'll see y'all then. Just want to do a quick update video on Noah. Just doing a little bit of the truck side wiring, not much. Just kind of trying to get stuff routed and try to get the main stuff done. Working on the main ground cable for the battery box. I'm going right to the frame, so I got some pretty good 1-inch or 1 gauge or odd gauge terminal. Got it crimped on pretty good with the vise to some 0 gauge wire, which is pretty good. Got it heat shrink, got it wrapped with the Alex wrap, and then it's just going to be kind of over a portion of heat the exhaust is going to be, and some rocks and stuff. I went ahead and double layered it with regular wire loom stuff, and I got electric tape. So this loom is on top of that Alex braid, and then of course heat shrunk. So it's very strong, very secure, very protected. Anyway, so this will be the main ground cable. You can see I've already got the positive cable, which again is odd gauge, and it's ran into the bed and into the cab already. So yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and bolt this up. I'm going to show y'all where I'm going to bolt it at, just so I think it might be a little bit interesting for y'all to see. Forget my tools. You can hear how solid it is. I mean, it's literally probably more solid than the factory. Of course, there's all the wiring, which is kind of a cluster, but on the Ranger platform, on the extended cabs at least, there's a little rubber grommet on each end or each side of the cab, and I've got all the non-interference cables ran through there. You see it's kind of a clusterfuck at the moment, because I haven't got everything organized just yet, but we got a four gang wire just to kind of go through, just in case I forget stuff in the future. If you want future reference or future upgrades, we'll already have 4 wires through the cab. We can tie into at any point from either direction, from either end, from the outside from the outside and the inside. We got another 4 gang wire. This is just dedicated for the actuators. This is 2 actuators, so there'll be two sets of positive and negatives. And then we've got this taped up conduit, which is the marine RCA's, and then of course we got these 2 little wires, which are both for one's for the camera, for the rear view camera, and then one is for the 12 gang MC tuning control box we got for that thing. So that's what that is, and of course the main 0 gauge power wire, of course, in the blue and black. So we like that, and you can see I drilled the holes in the bed. You can see you got the power wire and the big gang wire for the actuators on the farthest of the cab, and kind of the other light stuff towards the back of the cab, towards the back of the bed. But pretty much got them all cut out and E-coated, that way it doesn't rust and everything. But anyways, back on the original subject here. I'm putting the ground in this hole. This is a factory hole from factory. You can see my little paint job there. You can see where I've got the paint nice and cleaned off, so it's good fresh paint. I mean fresh metal, I'm not talking paint. It's fresh metal, it's fresh metal. But I'm gonna route the ground cable through the secondary hole over there, coming through here, go above the frame, and then we'll come in and hit it right here. But you see what I'm talking about, where the muffler's right there, so it's gonna be a little bit of a hot spot. But I'm hoping it'll be fine. If not, if we kind of notice a problem, we can always come back and wrap it out with some heat shield. And eventually the exhaust won't even be here probably. So yeah, so that's just an ideal. Anyway, so I'm gonna get this on there, and then I will bring it back once I get it on, and you can see how it looks finished. So just got done installing. Jesus Christ! Just got done installing the ground. Pretty secure, I think. We got it going through the main frame perch. It's for a little bit more kind of protection, and then it kind of goes around the frame like that, and then loops back up. It's kind of rubbing that pinch weld of the bed, so I'm probably going to put some edge guard like I did over here. I've got edge guard like to put on doors, put them on here. It's probably not going to stay on very long, but I figured try to put some on, or try the glue that comes with these things, and if that doesn't work, then put a little bit of urethane on them and use everything to hold it. I got them on pretty much all the pinch points or the edges that any of these wires are going to erode. I know this is not the right way to do this. Probably the better way to do this would have been go straight through the bed and the cab like that. But of course, I'm stupid and I didn't do that. So this is what we're going to have to deal with, I guess. But I'm probably going to wrap this with loom, just like I did that one. But we'll do that on a later date. But anyways, so now I got all of that ran up there. But anyways, I just wanted to show you all that ground. I don't usually do stuff this, I guess, extreme, I guess. But I'm really trying to up my quality, I guess. I'm trying to up my, I'm really trying to just kind of build it heavy enough and strong enough for the future, I guess, for whatever future endeavors I try to pull off with this truck. And eventually for the motor swap, the batteries are going to be all in the back, and, we're going to have our main ground over here. So anyways, so this is, I think this is a pretty good start. Yeah. So I am probably going to call it a night now. Whew. I'm probably going to call it a night now. Got a lot of stuff done today. A lot of stuff I didn't really think I was going to get done, but got done. So you can see it's a bit of a cluster coming out of this. We got the main ground wire, again the RCAs for the Marine, the camera and control box, and of course the 8-gang. This 8-gang is wired currently to the rear of the truck. So this will control, this has the left turn signal, right turn signal, independent brake signal, backup signal, tail light signal, and then there's three, then we have the actual trailer plug or trailer light sequence. So, and by that I mean the turn signals also control the brake. And we have those three wires wired in to another pair of these three. So basically the five of these wires are for the truck side lights, and then the other three are for the trailer output lights. And basically the trailer output lights are basically for this, so our headache rack lights will work like a trailer. So these would act like a brake and turn signal, and then of course this would be just a brake light, which we have wired in separately down here. But yeah, so that's why we had to use this 8-gang wire right here. So yeah, and then of course, again, this is the 4-gang wire that we saw going to the cab. Again, that's for the actuators, and then of course our main power wire. And of course you can see it's pretty good wire. It's yeah, I've had it for years. I think it'll be pretty good, I think. Did you hear how loud that is? Listen how loud this thing when it hits. That's crazy. But yeah, so with this, this will take care of a lot of the wiring as far as the truck side. Kind of the main thing I gotta do now is obviously put the grommet in here, but also I'll have to urethane that bottom and that cab where all these other wires are going, where all these wires are going into. I'm gonna have to kind of urethane that and make that more obviously waterproof, but also secure and safe for the wires. Whether that be wire looming on the little tiny wires like this, or wire looming the main power cable on those edges, just protect the wiring from the edges and protect all that from the elements. And we'll probably use some urethane as well. I know I hate kind of doing that, but it really does work really well. Kind of like this. It's a mess, but it works pretty well for kind of unorthodox spots to hold the wires without drilling and without doing all the proper wire management steps. But yeah, so anyways, I'm gonna probably do that tomorrow, and that's pretty much the real last thing we gotta do for this. I think. Again, the real only other wires we're gonna have to run inside the cab will be the GSMR antenna and the CB radio antenna. And I figured I'd do that kind of in one go, kind of in one setting, you know. And that'll be on the driver's side plug. That same plug, but on the driver's side, we'll run the interference antenna radio antenna cables. What the hell am I saying? We're gonna run the CB and GSMR interference antenna cables through the driver's side input, and yeah, we'll do that kind of in one go. But yeah, it looks pretty cool. So this should take care of the majority of the wiring. So now I just gotta finish making my battery box, and my little lid, which I'm kind of hate saying it, but I think I'm gonna have to kind of revisit that whole design, because after looking at all of this, I don't know. I know it's gonna get condensed pretty good, you know, once you start kind of wire looming and separating stuff, but right now it's a bit busy. But yeah, so anyways, so we'll probably do that tomorrow or this week whenever I get a chance. And then of course still got to run a few little things like the bed lights. I need to do that before I put the stuff in. That would be something for me to do. And I forgot to do it, which is kind of suck. But I was gonna put a sill on this back side of this headache rack to kind of overlay, kind of sit over that little that back rail we had, and I forgot to do it. So now I gotta take all of this off to do it all over again. Not really, but I'm probably just gonna do it on the top now, on this top edge, and then just make it go in. A bit of a pity, but I think it'll work just the same. And of course, we're not really worried about how critical the waterproofing is on this end. Again, it's not important really. It's not as critical as it would be somewhere else. So yeah, so really extremely productive. That previous video just cut out. I don't know what I just did, but as I was saying, it's been an extremely productive weekend. This weekend. How many times can I say weekend in one video? I wonder. By the way, have you seen the new movie from The Weeknd and Jenna Ortega? It's fucking awesome. It's like a fever trip. I wasn't drunk. I wasn't drinking watching that movie, but when I left, I felt drunk. By the way, Jenna Ortega in that movie is amazing. She's pretty good in a lot of other stuff, but damn, she had me feeling a certain type of way watching that movie. Regardless, this weekend was a very productive weekend. Ha. Gotcha. We got a lot of wiring done, and we pretty much got almost all the wiring done, really. Well, not all of it, but, you know, the major part of the routing of the wire is done. Again, the crown is basically wired. It's ready to go, pretty much, with a few exceptions, which, of course, we've talked about in the previous inserts here. But, yeah, a lot of this all got done today, so I'm really happy with that. Let me show you on the inside real quick too before I close this out. I know I keep going on rants, but it's how I am. Of course, I got the seat out too, so I can kind of work. Of course, it's all just stacked in right here, which is pretty much typical of how I do stuff. But there's our little MC tuning light controller. I've been wanting to use this. I've got like 3 of them or 4 of them on the shelf, and I've been wanting to use them. Convert all my vehicles to this setup for my lights and for all my stuff, and I just haven't done it. So this is my first time doing it, so I'm really excited about that. Of course, I got the RCA's in there for the overhead soundbar, and yeah, just a bunch of shit. I'm also going to use, this is that alt gauge from the bed. You can see we've already got the 4-gauge ran from the original stuff from the battery, from the front battery. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to have to do some research on it really, but I'm thinking about, on the center console, having a main kill switch. So this battery, we'll probably use this cable kind of as like a intermediate cable, I guess, for charging from the alternator maybe, I'm not really sure. But this will be the main power in to the cab for all of our main accessories. So obviously we'll have a kill switch, just regular marine grade kill switch to, kill power into the cab. And then we'll probably use this wire, existing wire, obviously it's already here. We'll use it for an existing kind of cable to go in to power our existing stereo, but this will be the main power supply. We'll just cut it and then tie it in essentially to that switch. And then I'm trying to figure out a way how to, because I kind of want to make it where we can control the batteries we can control the charging, so to speak, from here. I'm not really sure how I'm going to be able to do that. Entering with the solar chargers really shouldn't really matter. But it's been a thought I've thought about for a long time from other projects, so I'm kind of curious if I can actually do that or not. But I'm going to do a lot of research on that, and we'll deal with that later. But yeah, and you see, Noah's a freaking mess. Like, just, this is what I have to deal with on a daily. You got the subs, which are really clean, and my back rack, which is really clean. And then you've got, like, my toolbox, which I really need. And then you've got, like, ski goggles from when I went skiing, like, 3 years ago. That's still in here that I haven't cleaned out. My shooting support thing, which I haven't cleaned out yet. A dirt buster vacuum thing, which is great. My Whataburger Walmart, or Burger King Walmart crown, which is all crumped up now. I got my tie downs for my bed, athletics wrap, because you never not have any of that. I got probably, let's see, some ammo for my 1911. I've got more ammo for my 1911 somewhere over here. Yeah, here it is. More ammo from 1911, the Freedom. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, well, it's 45 ACP, trust me. But yeah, we got that. We got cigarettes, more cigarettes, 1911, which, by the way, I love this freaking gun. This is the best thing ever. We the People holster. Sponsor me, please. I got cash, because whatever. I got my book. This is a clusterfuck, ain't it? Random light, because you always gotta have lights. 2 mags for my SIG. Grommet for the thing I'm not gonna use. Tactile light, because I like having strobe parties. More cash. A knife, which scares me. Another SIG mag. So yeah, I got a lot of shit. I don't know where I'm going with this video. This is a terrible video. What the fuck am I doing? I don't know. Of all the interiors out, you can get really good appreciation for the headliner with the Hellcat lights and visors. Very cool, very cool, very cool. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I got a knife. Stab. Alright, I'm having a fucking seizure, I think, so I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna go. Nice. So working on Noah, her battery box. Pretty much got it done. You can see it's a bit wavy. I'm not really good at carpenter work, so yeah. Anyways, it's good though. It's pretty strong. I've got screws, wood screws. Oh Jesus Christ! I've got wood screws that are about like that long. They're insanely long. I got 2 in each board going through the plywood into the 2x4s on the floor. And then I got 3 of the screws going into the plywood to plywood. And then same thing down here. This is going through the plywood into this main runner 2x4, and that's where See, I got all the screws going in there as well. And then on the little center divider support thing, I just got I've got one screw going in from the bottom over here, and then I got one toe nailed in from the top on this end. Then I got two from the bottom, and then two from the bottom as well. As you can see, I got my edges tapered. Of course, this is the front or the back edge where it hits that wheel hump, so it had to be a little bit of kind of custom scribing. I'll clean it up with a grinder, but basically it clears though, as well as some angles, just to clear that little lip right there on the bottom. Anyways, it fits really good. Let me see if I can do this one-handed. You can see it just kind of slides in. Oh, sorry. Oh shit, that's what hit under the wire. It helps when the wires are out of the way. There you go. Yeah. So, there you go. So that's where it looks like when it's in. You can see our edges are kind of tight, a bit tight, but they work. It clears. You can see it kind of clears there too. And then you can see where it's floating over here, but it's riding on these edges right here. That's because of, I don't know why Mazda does this, but they make these ribs on these outer pockets a little bit lower. So basically the weight of that battery will be supported pretty much by leverage of this weight of the battery, so of this other battery. But yeah, so I gotta sand this, get ready for paint. I gotta drill a few holes for my wires to go through for my main assemblies, my amplifier, my fuse block, and my switch panel has to go in here. So there'll be a few little holes. And I gotta figure out a way to mount this somehow where it's not gonna slide out. I'm thinking little L brackets, little angle metal brackets, maybe one into here, and then maybe even one down there, and then some over here as well in the bed itself. But I'm not really sure about that just yet. I'll first thing out, but that's something I gotta figure out too. But as far as the batteries go, it's pretty simple. The divider makes it really easy, but they just sit in there. It's a bit tight getting in. That's what she said. Got him. Okay. But that's what it looks like. We're gonna use, these batteries come with straps like this that tie down. You can tie down the battery boxes. And I figured instead of screwing the battery boxes permanently down to the wood down low, just use this to cinch it down. And that way when you have to move them and manipulate them, you can just loosen the straps and then you can slide them the full range of the box. And that will help open the lid, work on your battery, and all that good stuff. So that's kind of what my mentality is for that. So I'm going to use the straps they provide for that purpose. You can see it's a bit tight. It's not perfect. Mostly though, it's just a matter of getting the lid lined up on the actual box itself to where it closed. But anyways, yeah, I'm a bit happy with it. And of course it's going to rise it up a little bit, so we're kind of hurting our weight, or our body roll weight, but it is what it is. So yeah, so that's what it looks like. Nothing crazy. Of course, this will be cinched down so that hopefully won't move that much. But yeah, not bad. So I'm pretty much going to call it probably for the day. I'll probably come back tomorrow and sand it, get ready for paint. And as well, because I got to find my other strap too for my battery. But really now I think we can start kind of mocking up the amps and stuff and drilling the holes to make all that work. But after that, I think we'll be ready to paint it, and then it'll be ready to wire. So I'm really excited about that. I said I still got to figure out a tie down for the spare tire. So I'll probably just drill some holes and put some buckles on it for a ratchet strap, but we'll do that later. That's no big deal. But yeah, I'll do that later. So I'll bring y'all guys back whenever I have another update. So I'll see y'all then. So getting ready to paint Noah's battery box, or battery tray, whatever you want to call it. I got all the holes drilled. I got my these are the main holes for the truck side wiring to go into the the vehicle wiring box. These are the holes for my brackets. And then over here, this is the side that faces the back of the truck. This is our voltmeter hole. This is for the main Kenwood amplifier. I bought a bunch of little holes. The little holes are for the zip ties, so that we can wrap zip ties and be able to, you know, secure wires and everything. The bigger holes are for main power wires and kind of wire buses and all that good stuff. So you can see it's quite a lot of holes. It looks like a lot, but it's really just for zip ties and all that good stuff. I didn't spend that much time prepping it because it is kind of rough, and it's just kind of it's just going to be a kind of a rough battery box, you know, so it's not going to be perfect. It's not supposed to be perfect. You can see I just did a quick little sand with the DA just to get everything kind of smoothed up. Yeah, nothing special, but just yeah. So I'm gonna get ready to put the paint. We're gonna use the same paint we use on the bed cover. We're gonna put that on here. I'm gonna try to brush it and roll it where I can, and brush it where I can't. And yeah, we'll go from there. So I'll try to record a process, but it's probably gonna be a little bit difficult. But I don't know. We'll see how it goes. So I will see y'all then. So guys, I want to do a quick update video. I didn't get to record painting it, but I didn't get to record after painting it either. But this is what it looks like. It's the day after I painted it. So this is about 12 hours, maybe a little bit more than that, cured. And you can tell it looks pretty good. I did have to notch. I forgot my notch to notch for the angle iron, so I went ahead and did that after it had already been painted, and I got some fresh touch-up paint just on around that, and a few touch-ups on the edge, just kind of reinforcing it. But yeah, it looks amazing. I love the way it turns out. This paint is so fun to work with. It just works so good. But yeah. So anyways, I just want to give all this little update. So I think now we're pretty much ready to start installing. I'm gonna let this paint kind of tack up a little bit, so I'll probably let it sit for about 30 minutes. And this kind of heat, it's gonna dry very fast. It won't be cured, but it's gonna, like, you know, set up pretty fast. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Let it dry a little bit, and then yeah, we'll start wiring it, start getting it in place for the final time, and start getting ready to wire all this thing up. So let's see. It's 2:44 right now on a Friday, so I'm hoping to have this thing maybe not built entirely, but pretty heavily wired by the night. So we'll see how it goes. But anyways, I just want to show y'all that, and I will bring it back once I get something else done. So see y'all then. So working on Noah, I pretty much got everything wired, I think, at this point, or at least the plugs, the main wire runs done. Of course, we still gotta, you know, do fine tuning and stuff, but the main buses are done. This is the chase light bus. This is the main vehicle assembly light bus. A few cameras and a few little specific things over there. Over here, same thing. We got, this is for the actuators and the overheads, and then this is your speaker harness. So we got all that ran, which is great. We got the speaker harness connected to the amp, so that's great. We got a lot of the wires ran, or we're going to have to drill some holes or find some kind of like self-screwing wire loom things, just to, you know, route the wire a bit better on this wall. But other than that though, it's pretty much all the main stuff's done. So I'm probably going to try to clean up a little bit of this stuff, and then start getting ready to set the actual lid on top, because I think we're pretty much there now. So very exciting. So yeah, I'm gonna start getting stuff ready, start getting some foam strips cut to, you know, get ready to set stuff on, and we'll see how it goes. So just wanted to show all that. So guys, I'm getting ready to stab the shell, which is very exciting. I'm putting this little rubber foam stuff everywhere, getting ready to get ready to stab it. So yeah, pretty big moment coming up here. We're gonna find out whether or not the foam is gonna be too much thickness, it's gonna cause problems, or we're gonna find out if putting foam beneath all these other platforms down here, if that height difference is gonna mess up anything. So pretty exciting. So technically, I guess I never thought about it, technically we haven't actually test fitted that shell now with these freshly welded hoops, which shouldn't make that much of a difference, but I bet it did. So lots to potentially go wrong, but I'm pretty confident it's gonna be okay. Yeah, wish us luck. Well, boys and girls, we have freaking liftoff. So it's on. It was a little bit of a sketch putting it on. We had two people, and my father helped me put it on. It turns out you add all the wiring and lights to it, and the speaker bars, it gets a little bit heavy. At least for one person to pull it. But anyways, it's on. I haven't got all the bolts bolted yet, but they are started. The bolts are going in the holes where the alignment holes. So yeah, it looks very good. The paint burned through on the moving blanket, which is a bit of a pity, so I'm gonna probably touch that up in a little bit. But yeah, the only real problem was the headache rack was a little bit forward on these bolts lined up, these holes lined up perfectly fine. It was just this side was a little bit off. We just kind of moved it up. You can see it's a little bit short there, but nothing major. If we really wanted to, we could put bigger washers on, but I think this would be plenty fine. But yeah, so it's on. Of course, we still got to do all the wiring, plug the wires in, and start getting those final routed and tucked and zip tied and all that good stuff, and then get our actuators and our pods figured, and of course get all this wired now that we can actually work on it. But yeah, it's actually on after literally months. This got started in January, so it's June, like the 7th, I think. So it's literally taken me 6 months to do this. Pretty pathetic, I must admit, but very cool. Very, very cool. Also, I got some of the wiring done. I got all the main wires ran. So all the main harness buses are done now. They are ran. They are wired in. Of course, we got to connect all the light boxes and a few of the toggleable switches to the main thing, but the main controller. But you know, that stuff we kind of wanted to wait for this, that way I can kind of test as I do it, make sure everything works as it should on the actual rack itself. But yeah, so very, very cool. So I'm gonna give y'all a quick little walk around, and I'm gonna call it a night. So you can see that foam does a pretty good job. You can see it's got a little bit of a gap there, but we knew that going into it. Yeah, just very, very cool. I'm very happy with how it turned out. Of course, the high gloss black is a little bit of a different look compared to this, which we're probably going to adjust this to that. But yes, it's very, very cool. It looks almost kind of, I don't know, it looks more different than I thought it was going to look, but it looks damn good though. I do like the way it looks. But yeah. So tomorrow I'm going to just come up, get everything mounted, finalized, get all the bolts tightened down and cinched up, get all the wiring kind of finalized, tucked up. I doubt we'll have the bed cover on just because I still want to get a few more things wired in. I mean, a lot of the main battery accessory stuff, I want to get that wired in before I put the bed cover on, but it's very close. But yes, it's very, very awesome. So I appreciate y'all guys sticking with me for this, because I know my recording is not very easy to watch. So, but yeah, it's a cluster, it's a mess, but it is pretty solid now. Proof of concept, it's there. So yeah, so I'm gonna call it a night. I'll come back tomorrow, and we'll see if we can get this thing pulled out tomorrow. So I'll see y'all later. So just want to do an update since we got the shell on last night. I've just been doing a few little kind of just things, like running the solar panel wires and the antenna wires for the radios. You can see I got the CB antenna wire just zip tied up, main channel. And then obviously, since we messed up on our hole sizing for our wire drops, we're gonna have to run both antenna wires between the headache rack and the louvers, which is a bit of a pity. But it is kind of, but it is what it is at this point. Unfortunately, that was I think it's a bad design by my part. So I'll definitely remember that for next time. Yeah, during it's been very educational, this build. And these last few moments putting it together and finally getting all the wires ran, I'm really starting to learn, you know, just because you think it's big enough for some things, and the time you add, you know, loom and different secondary wires and just all kind of connections and stuff, it really does get tighter than you think it would. So I've learned a lot doing this. But anyway, so the CB and the GSMR antenna wires are ran. I've got them tucked up on the louver right now, but they are ran between the headache rack upright and the louver. We'll just drop them down to the frame between the bed and the cab, and then we'll run them into the cab from there. And then the solar panels, you can see it's a bit of a pity because you really can't wire loom them. But you got these zip tied up. They just go down the main conduit. Again, it's all exposed, which I'm a bit nervous about. And then, of course, it just runs down and tucks back in there. And the same thing, both these holes are too tight to run the solar panel connectors in, so I just ran them back, again, between the uprights and the louver, and then came in between the actual bed rail and the headache rack. You can see they barely fit, but it does work, and it's pretty much the best I can do at this point. One thing about those, I'm not too terribly upset about that, just because they are solar charger wires, so that they will be kind of an actual active charging component, I guess, so to speak, on this thing. So them not being really immediately like confined in the same space as all the other wires, even though they're somewhat connected right there, that's not as bad as it would be inside of all this metal, you know, tubing and stuff. Just in case something caught on fire or something like that, for whatever reason, at least it would burn on the outside, and it wouldn't just burn all inside here where you can't get to it. So kind of a, I guess, added benefit, I guess, of it, of my poor designing, I guess. Anyways, so everything else is rando. All of our plugs are plugged in. Our main body plugs are plugged in. So now we just got to add the speakers, the lights, and the hatches. Obviously the antenna, and then we got to mount, actually secure and bolt down the headache or the main shell. Adjust all the wings out accordingly to fit, and yeah, it looks really good so far. Let me try to get up here. So went ahead and got the main wing bolted down. Got this chase light bolted down. This is bolting down. Went ahead and got the camera taped on. Hopefully it's straight. Kind of hard to tell, but we'll have to just kind of adjust it on the go. Got our secondary cargo light here, and then got our solar panels mounted, and GSMR antenna. Bit of a thing you can see. I've learned a lot doing this, but you can see our clearances were so tight that the extra layer of primer and paint is just rubbing. This could have been avoided if I would have just made a little notch, just, you know, grind out a little notch on the actual wing. Of course I didn't do that, so now the paint's kind of peeling, which is not that big of a deal. I can just touch it up. I mean, I'm not worried about this at all. But this, a lot of clearances, again, a lot of stuff I've learned just by assembling it. So if you're doing this, if you're doing something similar to this, when you're ready to do these hinges, make sure you have a little bit of a gap just to take into account the paint and the primer build and all that good stuff. So yeah, bit of a pity that happened, but again, I'm not worried about it at all. That's my least of my concerns. This turned out really good. I'm really happy with how this looks. Of course, we got the inverted flare going back, so very happy with that. But yeah, so I'm going to, so at this point, I'm trying to think what all I gotta do on this thing. So I'm probably at this point going to start wiring the speakers, or getting the speakers mounted, and then the latches. So, bit of an update. A lot's got done since the last one. We got everything mounted. I don't know if I'll tell y'all this so far, but everything is really pretty much mounted now. Cameras mounted, speakers are in for good. Antenna wires are ran. The antenna for the CBs mounted. The GSMR is mounted. Solar panels are mounted. Everything's bolted down, so the bed rails, the wings, the headache rack, everything is bolted and tight. I pretty much got the entire lights wired in, like vehicle clearance lights, brake lights, turn signals, all that good stuff. That's wired in. Got pretty much all of it routed. Most of the amps wired in. Most of the toggles wired in over here. I'm getting ready to connect the actuators, and these actuator wires are actually the last thing I really got to connect. And after that, I'll be ready to do a kind of a final clean, and then put the batteries in and start running the battery main power cables and all that good stuff, and trying to get the solar panel wires routed and figured out how we're gonna make that charge and whatnot. But once we get all that done, then once we get the batteries in, we'll have to run our signal wires, our maintenance wires to the voltmeters, of course, and then after that we'll be able to put our cover on and give her a whirl. So yeah, I also of course the fans in the way making a lot of noise. I haven't got everything urethane yet, but I've got the radio controller mounted there, as well as you see that little button to the right of it. That is for the bed lights, so the bed rail lights that go underneath here and they go over the headache rack. That's what that switch over there controls. So that's wired in as well. But anyways, I just wanted to make an update because I haven't done one in a while, and a lot's got done. I kind of got in a kind of a zone, so to speak. I didn't really want to take a chance. I just kind of wanted to get as much done as I could. And yeah, so I'm running with it. But yes, and also, quick little note. We were concerned about the speakers being removable and stuff, and people being able to steal them. I can assure you, to get to the mounting bolts of the actual speakers themselves and or the actual bracket bolts, it is quite literally impossible. It's impossible when the flap is up. The actuator door is all the way extended. It's impossible. If it's closed or anything like that, it would be literally Thanos couldn't do it. So the only way if you're gonna steal these speakers, the only way you're gonna get them off is a freaking Sawzall. And that's pretty much how I'm gonna have to get them off too if I decide to get them off myself. I don't know what happened, but everything was so easy to get to, but clearance obviously was not a very good strong suit for me, because it's very tight. But not really a problem because I have no intention of taking them down, but just kind of a just so you know kind of thing. But anyways, I'm going to finish up wiring this, and that way I can put the batteries on, and maybe I can get y'all a little snippet before I leave tonight of all the lights working, because they do work right now. I can make them work right now, but I don't feel like getting up and turning the car on. So anyways, just wanted to show y'all that. I will see y'all in a bit. So update on Noah. I got the batteries connected. Pretty much pretty simple. We got the ignition battery on towards the inside, and then the deep cycle towards the outside. The deep cycle has studs, or like female bolt studs. So we've got these Blue Sea System fuse blocks on the positive and ground. We're gonna, of course, there's no fuses in the grounds right now, so none of the accessories are really live right now because there's no fuses. But anyway, so these will kind of be work as our fuses for our main lights and stuff on the ground, and then this positive is just for the solar panel. I figured having the solar charger on a fuse wouldn't be a bad idea. And then this 8 gauge wire goes to our circuit breaker, which powers our mic tuning gang box, and this little wire right here is from the solar panel. Or, I'm sorry, no, this wire is from the solar panel, and this wire goes to our voltage monitor right there. So anyway, so that's a voltage monitor, and then of course this is our main ground wire. This ground wire jumps from the deep cycle to the main ignition battery, Obviously this is our main ground from the truck side, from the frame. And then of course this goes to the deep cycle. And then of course this is a solar panel for the ground, for the deep cycle. On the ignition wire, of course this is a Ford Motor Company battery, so it's got top post, more like a factory style. So we got some recoil post covers, or recoil post plugs, I guess, whatever you call them. I don't know what you call them. Anyways, main power wire going to the cab for the ignition. Same thing, one of these wires is for the solar panel, and then one of the wires is for the volt meter, as well as this side. Again, main ground wire from the vehicle's frame, jumper cable or jumper wire from this battery to the deep cycle. Again, solar panel negative, and then a ground for volts. Now I still got to do a secondary ground that I forgot about just now. I gotta do a ground from here to the main gang box. But after that, we'll pretty much be ready to put the fuses in and give it a whirl and see if it burns the truck down. So that's where I'm at right now. So I'm going to do that real quick, because I literally forgot about that. And then we'll see how it goes. So I will see you in a bit. So got Noah pretty much wrapped up. I got some extra weight right now because I put some urethane on the runners to hold this piece in, just temporary. But yeah, aside from the Rain X jugs, pretty much solid. I got all the wiring harnesses urethaned and sealed up, which is great. The only problem is I turned the lights on, the bed lights, and I closed it up, so I won't be able to turn them off until the urethane dries, which is a bit of a pity, but oh well, it works. But yeah, so now it's kind of time to start trying to wire the main battery wires to the actual truck vehicle charging system with the isolators and turn-offs and all that good stuff. So I'll probably just kind of do that a little bit, and then after that I'll pretty much be kind of on stand hold or on hold, until we can get a center console built. So very cool, very cool.